Hi everyone, lots of you have been coming to see me asking for help with making a revision schedule, which is absolutely 100% fine. And please feel free to keep coming to see me, but I thought it might be helpful if I made a video of the very straightforward technique that I go through with people when they come and do this, so that you can all have a go if you are so inclined. So it's basically the idea behind this is just to try and give yourself a really clear structure for your week, so you know what you're going to be revising and when you're going to be revising it, and you can be confident that you're doing the right amount of study for each subject. So the first thing is to make a list of your subjects. So I'm going to write down my fantasy IB program. So I'd have done biology, and then I'd have done chemistry, and I'd have done psych as my HRs, and then maths, English, Lang and Lit, and then probably French B as my standards. Okay, so that's the easy part. Okay, then the next thing you need to do is you need to rank your subjects for the amount of time that you're going to need to spend on revision. Okay, so I mean, this is completely fake, so I'm going to say I'd spend 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, with regards to the languages, some of you at this point in time, with 4.5 weeks to go to the Easter holidays, you may think that you're doing enough in class. That's fine. I would just encourage you to make sure that you remember all the things you need to do to prepare, particularly for the literature exams, in terms of learning quotes, making sure that you've got really clear examples of the different literary devices for each one. Okay, so there's my ranking. So then the next thing is you have to identify how much time you've got available in your week. So look at your schedule. You know, maybe in my mythical life, I've got a CAS session there. I've got a CAS, that isn't a lesson. I've got maybe CAS there and CAS here, right? So then I need to think to myself, right, well, I need still some time to do homework, but I also want to make sure that I'm doing some regular revisions. So, you know, where are some sensible times that I could do that? Well, I think probably that day looks pretty gross. I'm probably going to have quite a lot of homework for that day. So maybe that's all going to be homework there. And that this goes on till 9 o'clock, but maybe I could do 1 hour of revision here. This day, on the other hand, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 available study hours, maybe even 9. I'm never going to do 8 hours of study after college. That's just never going to be a thing, because I've got to be realistic. Because if I'm not realistic, then I will get very stressed by the fact I'm not able to keep up with my study schedule. But I do think it's probably reasonable that I could do 4 hours on that night. So then I look at my Wednesday. I've got 1, 2, 3. Then I've got CAS 4, 5, 6 again. I've got another one here. You know, probably I need to have a bit of time to do homework, so I'm going to say I could do 3 hours on that night. I've got this great little study slot here. Now, I know that for lots of you that is a long line, and you know, that's fine, but one thing I would just encourage you to remember is that your exams start at 8:45 in the morning, so it's a really good idea to get used to being ready and awake and working at 8:45 in the morning. So I'm going to use that as a 2-hour study slot, and I reckon I could do one more in the evening, so I'm going to have 3 hours then. Now, Friday's a tricky one, isn't it? Because let's be honest, we don't really want to do any work on a Friday, and so I'm not gonna try and persuade myself to do any work on a Friday. I do have quite a lot of time on Friday, so maybe that's my opportunity to get any homework done before. Then on a Saturday, I think I can probably do 5 hours, and then on a Sunday, I'm going to say 4 hours because I'm going to have had a busy Saturday. Okay, so that's my schedule. Then I need to add it all up. 4, 9, 10, and that's 20 hours. Okay, so that gives me 20 hours of study in a week on top of my homework. Okay, so step 4 is add up the total number of hours. Done that. Step 5 is work out how many hours you're going to give each subject. Okay, so going back to my ranking list, so I've got 20 hours available, right? And what I now need to do is divvy that up. Now, if I was going to do this evenly, that would be 3.5 hours per subject. But I've already argued I don't want to do it evenly. Okay, so English, Lang and Lit, I'm going to say I want to spend 1 hour a week because I want to spend some time rereading the books and making quote lists. Then in the Easter holidays, I'm going to do loads and loads of essay practice. French B, I'm going to spend 2 hours per week. Okay, so that now takes me down to 17 hours left. Now, biology, I'm one of those annoying people that's quite good at biology, so but biology, however good you are at it, there's masses to learn. So I'm going to say I'm going to spend 3 hours on biology, which takes me down to 14 hours. So now I've got 14 hours left between these 3 subjects. So that's going to be 4 for maths and then 5 each for psych and chemistry. Okay, so then it's the next bit is you go back to your schedule and you identify where you're going to do that revision. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that one slot here from 9 to 10, and then these 4 slots I'm going to put in here. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that then leaves me the rest of the evening there. Then my 3 slots on the Wednesday, it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, and my 3 slots on the Thursday, they're going to be here in the morning. So 1, 2, and then 1 after my CAS. And I'm not doing any on the Friday, and Saturday to Sunday, I'll just work as the school day. Okay, and then I just go back to this and I say, okay, I just need to divide my time around it. Now, for me personally, I can't concentrate on anything for more than about 5 minutes, but I will, because it's study time, I will try and push that out to an hour, but I could never do 2 consecutive hours of the same subject. But I know for some of you, you really like to have a long, push at something, and there may be that there are some subjects that you do that what you want to be doing is a past paper every week. So your study slot for that subject needs to be that amount of time. Okay. And so you just now need to go through going, okay, I'm going to put my 1 hour of English here. Then I'm going to do my 3 hours of biology. I'm going to do bio there. And I'm quite good at bio, so I can do it quite late. And think about, maybe put your least favourite subjects at the beginning of your study day rather than at the end. The ones that you find hardest at the points in the day where you think you're going to be able to concentrate the best. Okay, so that's step 6. Then the next point is what to study in each session. So that's where you do a very similar plan for each subject. Now I'm going to use biology as my example here because I know the spec, right? So biology has 11 chapters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the option. Okay, now I have just said I am going to spend 3 hours per week on biology, and I have 4.5 weeks to the Easter holidays, but let's just say for the simplicity of maths, 4 weeks. So that gives me 12 hours. Okay, now there are 12 chapters, so I could just spend 1 hour per chapter, which might be fine. But equally, we've just had the trial exams, and maybe I work really hard on certain chapters. So maybe I work really hard on chapter 2 and chapter 3 and chapter 9. That's not very likely, but anyway, let's imagine that we had. And so then I can spend a bit more on chapter 7 and 8, which I find quite hard. And so then I can allocate how much time I'm going to spend on each chapter, and then you can slot those into your study schedule. Okay, then the final thing to think about is just this section here, how you're going to break up your study sessions. So, you've got, say, a 60-minute session. So you could do a continuous study model where you're doing 55 minutes of revising and you end up with 5 minutes of testing. That 5 minutes of testing is really important. Never end a revision session without testing yourself somehow. Or you could do it broken up. So you do 25 minutes, give yourself a 5-minute break, 25 minutes, and then 5 minutes of testing. Very similar to the one above, but you just get that break in the middle, which might just allow you to rewire your brain. That break should be doing something active, so getting up, walking around, going to the loo, go and get a glass of water, not scrolling on your phone. And then maybe the third option might be a kind of a mixed mode. I quite like this as an idea. So you do 30 minutes of study, making some notes or drawing a diagram or whatever, and then 20 minutes of review where you're trying to recreate that without looking at the original, and then 10 minutes doing a question or some questions on whatever it was that you had just studied. Anyway, there you go. Hopefully that will be helpful for you. And as I said, if you would like any further help, don't hesitate to come and see me and we can go through it together. Bye bye.